What's up, my big chunguses? Welcome back to another video. Today we gotta talk about the greatest crossover in history. Kengan Ashura meeting Baki Hanma. Every single part of this crossover was good. And while yes, some characters were changed in a way, let me just review it as normal. The animation remained in Baki style, so it was mostly 2D. There was some parts where you looked at Kengan characters and they had a lot more 3D aspects, but it was mainly 2D. This is a spoiler review, so if you have not watched this movie, don't watch my video. Second of all, I have been seeing people complain about this movie, saying how, it's unrealistic, Baki would win. And yes, of course, sure, why not? Whatever your opinions are, gotta understand that it's a crossover. Why are people so mad about this but not mad about Goku versus Luffy? When back then, Battle of the Gods was out. Goku was able to go Super Saiyan God. But he was fighting Luffy and Toriko, whatever his name is. I don't know, and probably none of you do. But when Goku fought Luffy, no one was complaining about how, that was unbalanced. Luffy couldn't. They basically nerfed Goku to fight Luffy. But now y'all are mad that they basically nerfed Baki and buffed Kengan characters. And y'all are mad about that? Come on, I'm waiting for an explanation, fellas. What have I said before? Y'all gotta stop complaining about movies. It's good. It's a crossover. When are you ever going to see Baki have a movie? Baki, of all things, get a movie where he fights ohma Tokita. They're both beloved fighting characters from fighting animes that people have been wanting to see for ages. And what's sad is that these animes were relatively really close. Because the only reason Baki looks as powerful as he does is the effects. Whenever you see Yujiro or like Pickle or Biscuit punch, you see the air behind that punch, so you're just instantly thinking, they're punching to the point that it would basically break the speed of sound. No, it's just the effects. It is just the effects. Kengan has very similar effects. Why are y'all complaining about this? Why are people saying, no, Baki's stronger? Where's that proof? The anime? The manga? When it's simply, if they weren't that similar in strength already, then I guess the crossover didn't happen. Because if they were that far in strength, then I guess Baki would have one-punched him, right, fellas? Right? Yeah. Okay. So, question me this. There's a character from an anime that I've basically seen in the trio of fighting animes. It's a boxing anime. The main character's named Ippo. Okay? Now, this guy has been compared to Baki more than Ohma ever has. Like, there is a line where you complain about movies for, like, bad effects. Like, if you really need an example, Megamind 2 or the first Sonic the Hedgehog design. That's a reasonable complaint on a movie. But when you see a fighting anime cross over with another fighting anime, I guarantee there's only one reason why y'all are mad. Because that character you liked from your anime lost to a character that you've never met before. And I guarantee if the fight went differently, the movie would not be hated or talked about as much. And that's Jack Hanma versus Ryan Kira. Now, like everyone, I came in thinking that Jack was going to win because he hasn't caught a W in a minute. Lost to Yujiro, lost to Pickle, lost to a guy from a whole different verse. And like everyone, I was upset about it. But also, unlike everyone, I didn't cause a cultural uprising complaining about how every Baki character, or just Baki himself, could solo the whole Kengan verse. Which is very untrue. Because if you look at Kengan, I can feel more force behind Ryan and Ohma's transformations into the advanced and the release transformation than any punch in Baki. That's a little sad that y'all gotta complain about that. There is a point where you just go too far in a movie. This movie was good, and overall, Baki probably would have won. So what's your complaining? Heck, in my fairness, I was just happy Hanayama won. Got a W there. Heck, I mean, in all fairness, one of my disliked characters in Kengan is Saw Pang. I didn't like. He seemed like a human version of SpongeBob that liked to do karate. That's how I felt about Saw Pang, and I'm not trying to insult anyone. That's just my opinion on him. But at the same time, between Ryan and Jack, there was a very big, clear difference that gave Ryan his win. No amount of substances that Jack took were going to beat Ryan's release form. No, no homo. Yeah, no homo. But look, the point I'm trying to get out here is that Jack took a lot for this fight. And I think that was where he went wrong with this. Ryan has been dubbed the strongest in the tournament. That it's because like Biscuit said in the movie, strength is technique, but technique is strength. The only reason Ryan lost was because Ryan barely knew tiddlywink about the Nico style. Now, Ryan, or Ryan, however you want to say his name, overall was technically the strongest because if you really think about it, out of everyone there, no one was really beating his release. And the strong dude named, like, the blonde dude that people called Hercules and Julius probably overall were physically built stronger. But I think it would have went a lot. But Ryan just, I think, knew a lot more martial arts and fighting. Plus, his release was not really like he was gonna beat Julius if they ended up fighting, just like how Ohma's advanced beat Sekebayashi. And Baki is also one for taking down bigger opponents than him. For example, Baki has beaten Pickle, technically beat Pickle, beat Biscuit. What I mean by technically on Pickle, though, is like he beat Pickle and got Pickle to the ground, but then he's like, yo, I'll stop using like Kung Fu and stuff. We can just go on a brawl. Because when a character goes into someone else's technique, like for example, Pickle doesn't know martial arts. He's a caveman. But at the same time, that's all Baki knows. He knows martial arts. He doesn't know a full-on fist fight brawl. And overall, Baki isn't meant for that, especially in that situation against Pickle. Pickle's bigger, stronger, has way more muscle, so add durability to that too. I think the only thing Baki would have in a full-out fist brawl, no correlation or moves or techniques or whatsoever, Pickle had that. That was like his specialty. And I think if Yujiro did the same thing against Pickle, Pickle probably would have won. So, why are y'all complaining? And y'all know Baki didn't even go full power because he only used Demon back. He could have completely ended the fight if he used Demon Brain. Oh, has no one brought that up in a video yet? Has no one brought up that Baki has not went full power against Ohma yet? It's kind of freaking obvious, guys. Oh my god. I don't get why y'all are complaining. It's a good movie. Hanayama beat Saw-Pang. People didn't like Saw-Pang, and people love Hanayama. That fight was obvious. Heck, if it was up to me, I think Jack should have went against that one dude that took a bunch of Julius. I feel like it would have been a way better fight between him and Jack, given that sure Julius did a lot of training. He was also like a German medicine freak. The only reason why he has all that muscle is because of German medicine. So think about it. Jack maxed out on substances and also has a lot more technique and knows a few of Yujiro's moves going against Julius, the modern medicine like freak of the world. And overall, Ryan's fight with Jack was really close. Honestly, if Tokugawa didn't end the fight that soon, Jack would have had it. Heck, I mean, look, I want y'all to think. Jack barely had anything on him. He was bleeding. Nose, maybe the head a bit. He was bleeding. But what's crazy, though, is that Ryan looked like looked like a nugget bitten out of 4 places. His freaking legs, his arms, his shoulders. Jack was biting all, like, valuable points that needed to move. Being that precise while biting is really... And the only reason I think y'all are so biased about this fight is because it took a while for them to count Saw-Pang out. Like, they only ended that fight early because they were worrying for their lives about Jack and Ryan. And overall, we all knew that there was never going to be a clear winner between Baki and Ohma. Because, well, let's be honest here. Baki's too stubborn to go down, and Ohma just hasn't been in that situation where he's, like, gonna die in a fight yet. Hurt, sure, but not, like, die. So, overall, I give this movie a good 9.5 stars. I loved it. This took in the baki verse. This took place some time after. This had to take some place after the Pickle Saga and before the Musashi arc, because Musashi hasn't been brought up yet, and I'm guaranteed if Musashi was alive, someone from Kengan probably would have fought him. Probably the Fang of Metsudo. I would have loved to see a Fang of Metsudo just like evolve to fight Musashi. That would have been a good fight. Um, but yeah, like I was saying earlier, though, y'all are comparing Ippo to Baki. Really? I think Ohma and Baki alone, like not together, alone could solo Ippo's verse. Don't get me wrong, it won't be easy, but they can do it. I mean, it was just bound to happen. I mean, and it looks like uh the Baki is very engraved in Kengan lore now, given that it is official that Doppo Orochi, Katsumi's father, um, and Yujiro, one of Yujiro's best friends, fought in a Kengan Association match. So these worlds are very tied together, and I would consider this canon. Now you're probably wondering, okay, well, we know where it takes place during the Baki verse, but what about Kengan? This is where it comes to a bit of a halt for me, because I'm like, And my guess is that this is before the final. Well, we've been introduced to all of our fighters, so all the fighters have at least fought once. So I'm going to assume that this is going to take place right after our current season of Kengan Ashura. Because as you know, we currently need to go to the third season, and we're waiting for that still. As the current time of this video is made, the third season is still not out, and season 2 ended off with the island that the Kengan Association matches were being held. They were taken hostage by a military operative, and guess what? I have no clue. I completely lost train of thought there. But look, it ended off on a happy note, and I'm going to assume that Ohma was just like, right now Ohma is currently passing away. You could say. He has a critical. Ohma Tokita has a current heart disease that is slowly offing him when he uses the red advanced form. If you want to know what that advanced form is a bit about, my advice: just watch the movie, see Emperor Kaku. Kaku, yeah, explains it pretty well. Overall, though, I would say that at the very end of the day, Baki would have had this match very close. And now that I think about it, Baki and Ohma have a very similar backstory. I mean, their whole lives since they were kids, they've just been fighting to survive, especially with the kind of lifestyle Ohma had and the father Baki had. I wish we did get Goroki Gensai. Basically the Devil's Lance go against Yujiro Hanma. We got to see them meet up in person, and I genuinely think it would have been close, but I really think Yujiro would have only gotten hurt how he did originally against Doppo. And I honestly thought it would just have been better for Doppo Orochi to go against Gensai, but I don't know. Gensai is the strongest of the Kengan verse, and I think that it would have been a fight to remember. Just go watch this movie. It's just really good. Okay, guys. Like, I'm gonna probably make another video on watching Venom 3 trailer. I think it's worth a watch. I don't know. Let There Be Carnage kind of let me down with Carnage's design, so I'll see how it is. It could be a great movie for all I know. However, I think I've said my piece about this. I mean, just stop complaining about movies, guys. You're lucky you even get a crossover movie where two great known characters meet each other. I mean, take a look at this. People have asked for this, and some people are genuinely happy for this. Just because you haven't watched Kengan before doesn't mean you can't understand that this guy is a genuine good fighter. But yet we still have some crossovers where Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony meets Optimus Prime. Or I don't know. Other crossovers like the Ghostbusters meeting the TMNT. Or I don't know, Batman meeting the Ninja Turtles. Or Goku versus Luffy. Luffy didn't even use any of his gears in that fight. Goku, like, he might have used a few. But tell me why Goku had to go Super Saiyan in a fight against like zero. Like, Luffy hasn't even went gear 1, 2, 3, or 4 yet. Whatever. Anime fans, you confuse me. But this fight was genuinely close, so L, accept that. Big Chungus out.